Wendy Jensen. I'm here with Clarence, and we're going to just have a fun conversation about his life. We're in Stoughton, Wisconsin at the VFW, and he's lived here his whole life except for when he was gone for a while.
When I was in the service.
You're in the service, yeah. Yep. And so we're just going to chat. Should we start at the beginning?
Yeah.
When were you born? What year? And where? Yeah. We're ready.
When I was born?
Yeah. When were you born?
Well, I think I was born October 7th, 1922.
Yep, that's what I heard.
And it was two houses down from the hospital. Well, the hospital wasn't much of a hospital them days. My mother, my brother, he was a little older than I was. I don't remember if he was born up there or not. But right after I was born, my dad bought a house down on Moline Street.
Boy, that's nice.
And now my daughter, she bought it, and she's living in it.
Oh.
So it kept it in the family anyhow.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And you said that your dad worked in the shops.
Yeah, he worked in wagon works. And he had a lot of his fingers cut half off, a board or something break, and then a hand go right in the saw.
Oh.
And then he says, "Oh, you're pretty old," and he says, "You can't get the money back for that." I said, "Why not?" It says, "It hurts him just as much as it would be me." Huh. I said, "Why do you have to cut it out because he was an older man?" I said, "Still hurts him." Oh, we had a big argument about that.
Oh. Did you get him the money?
No, I guess he got it straightened out all right at last.
Good. So the wagon works that your dad worked in, was that the wagon works, the second one, the one that's over where the highway
Well, the
trail?
wagon works was down there where the Uniroyal is now, down by the river.
Okay.
And a lot down there when I was a kid, I can remember there was a wood fence going all the way from there all the way down to the river. And then they had the railroad used to run in there. And then they had the railroad down through there, and we'd go down there and I'd walk, and no telephone or nothing. No. So my mother would make lunch for them, and then we'd have to run it down to the trailer for them. Or the wagon works. Mm. No telephone.
No.
Word of mouth mostly. "Hey, Sina," my mother's name, the lady across the street. "What do you want? Did you hear about this?" She says, "No." And then she'd call the next door, and then they'd pass the word around. We didn't have telephones then. So word of mouth. And everybody was in the same boat.
So you lived through the Great Depression here in Stoughton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody had nothing. We were kids, and of course when you're kids, you're hungry all the time. Mm. And we used to buy little chocolate bars. They were 2 cents.
Oh.
But now they were about that thick and about that square, and they were 2 cents for a chocolate bar. But we had the paper out. Most of those guys had paper out, you know. So we didn't go out for any sports or anything in school. Got through with school, we'd go down and wait for the papers, peddle papers. And from down there to the river, we all had bicycles. We had great big baskets in front there. Mm-hmm. Come there, there was a house right down here where N went out at that time, and I had to come way out here. Summer, winter, no matter what it was, we did it. Wow. And it was 7 days a week. We'd peddle papers in the morning on Saturday, or we'd go around and collect the papers on Saturday. And then Sunday we'd get the papers and we'd peddle the papers. They were big papers then. And most of these people now, like these older people, lived upstairs. So I had to go up the steps or halfway up there, then throw it up the steps. And he says, I appreciate it if you get it up here, he says. So then it hit it, and he didn't quite get it, and then it tumbled all the way down. So I had to throw it up through there again. Yeah, that was really something, that was. But I never went out for any sports or anything like that. I didn't have time. Too busy working, making a living. My dad, he was a hard worker. And my mother, she worked for, down there by where the youth center is now. She worked in there at a little while. And the women on Coffee Street, they worked there.
Yeah.
And then they went from there, and then they had the canning company there, and then they worked over there. And
Now the canning company was down by the river?
yeah, it was right at the back of where the youth center is now.
Sure.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they used to can it. And then, down the old cannery too, down there where they had canning condensed milk.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that made noise. You could hear that old can rolling down through there. You could hear that from the house, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So your dad was born in Norway?
Yeah, he came from Norway there, and then he went from here out to South Dakota to help them in the grain harvest, because they want these people, they wanted to put them in the wagon works. Mm-hmm. But then the jobs opened up out there, so they sent all the guys out there. So then when he got here, he went out there and worked for a long time.
Okay.
Then they come back again, and then they start getting work around here again for them.
Can you tell me about school? Where did you go to school? Was it the East Side School?
Well, right down here a little bit here on Academy Street, they had a little school, East Side School, they called it.
Uh-huh.
Well, they're going to ship me down to school there. Of course, I was born in October. And so you had to be 5 years old. Well, I wasn't till October. So they tried to sneak me in there. And all I could speak was Norwegian.
Oh, you did?
See, there's 2 reasons you can't start school. You're not old enough. Why? Because you wasn't 5 years old when you're supposed to start. You wasn't 5 years old till 2 months later.
Okay.
So then I had to go back home again.
Oh.
And then of course, when I did start school, I was the oldest one in the school, in our class.
Sure.
Because my birthday was in October, and they started school in September.
That's kind of nice, though, isn't it?
Well,
Being
at the
older?
time, I wanted to stay with my buddies, you know.
Well, true.
Yeah.
True. So you only spoke Norwegian at home?
Yeah, my folks did. Well, they didn't think we knew too much there, and they'd go in the kitchen and shut the door, you know, buy us presents and that for Christmas.
Yeah.
And we'd go up to the door and we'd go down there to listen and see what they were talking about, you know. But my brother, he was the older. So my brother got like overhauls. He got brand new overhauls. My mother would patch them up, and I get my brother's secondhand stuff. So I got secondhand stuff all the time.
Yeah. I bet that happened a lot back then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Sewing machines were pretty popular them days, and
Yeah.
patches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you switch from Norwegian to English then, so you could get in kindergarten?
Well, a lot of these other kids at school, they spoke Norwegian and English. So
Okay.
I gradually started to learn. But I remember the swear words in Norwegian. Yeah.
I know a couple too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So from East Side School, then what was your next school? Did you go down to the old high school?
Oh, then,
No, you-
well, we walked up there, and then we went up to the high school up where it is now, up there.
Right.
And we walked up there. We had the old red brick school there,
Okay.
and they tore that down, and that was the nicest building they had.
Oh, yeah, it was a nice
Yeah,
building.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the really old high school, the one that's still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, everybody walks, you know, like nowadays, the people are going to get exercise. What do? Take a bus and take them down there to get exercise. Make them walk down there and walk right.
Yeah.
We walked all over. Where we
Yeah.
went, we walked.
You're in good shape.
Walked all the way down to Dunkirk and back to go swimming. And then we'd come back and then we'd peddle papers. Saturday morning, I always call it eight-day paper route.
8-day?
Yeah. Well, you peddled every day of the week, you know. And on Saturday, you go around the morning and collect for the week. So then you got through with that, then you got the paper, and then you had to deliver the paper.
Were people good at paying their bills?
Pretty good, yeah.
Good.
We used to have milk delivered to your house, you know. They had a little wood pot like that that hold about 2 gallons of milk. And then some of the people wanted their papers put in that box, you know. And some of these older people asked me to throw it up the steps to them. Nowadays, my paper lays way out in the gutter. Sometimes it's the middle of the sidewalk. Rain or everything, it's all wet, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought, them paper boys, and then they turn around and want a tip, you know, to deliver paper. You open up the window and flip it out and don't know where it lands.
Yeah.
That's terrible, that is.
So, other than your paper route job, which sounds like that went all the way through high school.
Well, I had everything east of the railroad track.
Wow, that's a lot.
And I had another boy paddled about half of it, and I paddled the other half. And we had the upper part here, and we come all the way out here to a house. In the wintertime, it was terrible, you know. And,
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't know no different, because that's the only way we, know. And, but that was pretty nice. The people, you got to meet them friendly in there. One time I was up there peddling papers there, and I come out, hey, would you like a nice fish? He had a great big northern like that.
Wow.
Oh, gosh, my dad would love that.
Oh.
So I took that and I went down 2 houses down. I'm not going to carry that all the way around there. And I gave it to another guy about 2 doors down. And that's the way it was anyhow. It was all hand-me-downs and all walk.
Yep.
Walk
Yep.
all the time.
So, what were other jobs you had in Stoughton? Were there?
Well,
were there
when
any?
I first got out of school, it was right during the war, or after the war, I got out. And I went up to Madison up there, and I worked up there for, about a year, I think it is, or a little longer. I worked at nights at Wisconsin Foundry and Machine Company, 2 blocks off the square. And I had 5 people in the car with me. So that means I took 5 cars off the road. Now you look at the cars, you got 1 car, 1 person.
Yep.
And everybody goes around and delivers their paper and that stuff.
Yeah. You've seen a lot of changes in your life, haven't you?
Oh my goodness, I guess so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Could you tell me a few things about Stoughton? What it looked like when you were a kid? I've been told that there were a lot of grocery stores in town.
Yeah, they all had little grocery stores. They had the east side here. We had Eggleston's is down there on Academy Street.
Yeah.
Holes up here. And, well, in fact, we had two of them up here on Main Street.
Did we?
For a while, yeah.
Okay.
And, well, Saturday or Friday night was the night we'd do the shopping. We had an old 28 Chevrolet, gray and black.
Ooh.
And we'd go uptown there and we'd park down by the drugstore on the corner. Then across there, they'd have a popcorn place. And then the mother would roll down the window and people walk up and down. That's how they visit.
Yes.
Go up there and talk back and forth. We didn't have a phone until just about we went into service. Nobody hardly had a phone then. And then they had party phone. And I got home one night to make a phone call there, and I got on there, and these kids just got home from school, and they were on the party line. And they were talking about, I says, hey, would you mind getting off the phone? I got to make an important call. No, we don't have to do that. Well, I said, it'd be nice if you did. It'd be nice. I said, and they did. They finally did get off and let me get on the phone.
Oh, good.
Wear out a lot of pair of shoes. I'd get my brother's shoes. And my dad would patch them, sole them and everything like that. So most of my life I got hand-me-downs. I never got new stuff. My brother got the new stuff, and then he'd wear it. And then finally my mother would patch it up, and then I'd get it. So I kind of felt down the dump from that.
Yeah.
And then my sister, she's 2 years younger than I was. Well, it was all girl stuff then, and she got all new stuff. My brother got new stuff, and I was the middle guy, so I got the hand-me-downs. And I was kind of peed off about that.
The money that you were making from your paper route, did you get to keep that, or did you help out your family?
No, I got about $3 a week for peddling papers.
So you could buy a few of your own things.
Oh yeah, I bought a lot of stuff myself,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't got the pep I used to have. I used to run around all over. Now I got a little helper here.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty nice cane.
Yeah, I got that up in Canada up there. I was on a beaver.
Say, you mentioned that you had a tin can system for talking to your friends with the string, the cans with the string, and you got them to work?
Oh, I got to tell you about that one there.
Okay.
The old days there, we used to had earphones, and then you take and you put one on a wire, and we get these little coils, real fine wire, and we'd get the headphone there and put one down in the ground and hook the other one on the wire. Then we run the wire way up there or outside or someplace, and then the other guy do that same thing, and you could talk back and forth on it. And of course, we was going to run it up. Moline Street was only 2 blocks long. And my one buddy, he lived right out here at the last house. And we were going to string from my house up there. So they got the high tension wires up there. So we thought, well, we'll get this fixed. So we took that wire, this little coil of wire, unraveled a bunch of it. And then we told that one guy, you hang on to this wire now, and we throw that up over the high tension wires. Never thinking,
Oh boy.
And so we threw that up over the wire over there, and that wire hit the one, and then it hit the other one, just like a lightning. Bing! A big shot like that, and it just come down right through the guy's hand and knocked him flat on the ground. Oh, we killed him. I thought, and everybody come running out of the house there. He was laying on there, and I thought, oh, am I in trouble now? And he got up, but he got a burn mark right across his hand where he's holding it. That high tension, 2,000 volts or what it was.
Holy cow.
That scared the living, oh, that just scared me terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you?
But this out here was all farmland. We used to hunt rabbits and stuff from that around here.
Yeah.
And then the fellow that donated the land and that to us, he had the gas station over here. And then he owned all his land. And he donated this to the VFW.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's how they,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's how we got, they were going to build down on south of Stoughton, down along the river down there. Mm-hmm. We said, no, we don't want to go way down in there. And then we was down on Page Street down there, right around the corner there where the Norwegian house is there.
The Heritage Center, yeah.
We had that for a while. And then I was a member down there, and on Saturday, this one guy down there, he'd have rummy games down there, you know. And then he'd collect off them.
Oh.
And I says, where's that money going? It's going in my pocket. Oh. I'm doing all the work.
Oh.
Who's building this? I said, VFW. I said, what did they get out of it? Oh, they don't get nothing out of it. I said, so you're making money off of the VFW by having these games. I said, I ain't gonna belong to an organization like this. So I quit.
Oh.
So I quit for about 2 years, and then I rejoined again. And they didn't like it. But we had, well, when I first joined the VFW here, we didn't have no building, no nothing. So we had the meetings downstairs of the city hall, 2 rooms down there.
Sure.
So there we had it there. And then we didn't like it there. So then we went up to community building. So we got downstairs there. And then we'd have luncheons and stuff like that. The guy says, this ain't no club. I say, we can't have any beer. Well, I says, 2 places can't have beer. So then they thought about, let's see, what was it now? They were looking for a spot there, and then Dale Sperling donated this land out here. So then we start building, and we got a really nice building now compared to what we used to have.
Yeah. How about talking about when you got out of the service? When you came home from the service?
Yeah.
And you got married when you were 50? Is that?
Well, I got married. I says, if I don't get married by 50, I never will get married. I got married in August.
Good for you.
And I'll be 50 in October. And I got a nice family.
Yes, you do.
And they treat me very nice.
Yes.
In fact, everybody been treating me pretty nice. That's one reason I get old, you know. People treat you pretty nice and open the door for you, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well, you've always been a very nice person.
Well, I try to.
It comes around.
I try to treat everybody like I want to be treated. Mm-hmm. And one guy the other day there, he opened up the door for me, and that. I said, well, thank you. I said, as many people do that. No, he says, that's right. That's the trouble with our country. Mm. They don't do stuff for other people anymore like that.
Yeah.
Well, I got out of service there, yeah. And then I went back to my old job there. I was a machinist. I went up there and I said, I ain't gonna do this, work this like this. I gotta find something different. So then I got a job down a highway trailer. And I got in heavy, well, not heavy weapons, but it was earth boring machines. And Well, I got a job. I had to work in Madison. Then I worked in Madison there, and then I had to go to Janesville or Edgerton. And I says, I can't get a job. So then I quit everything and I went down to trailer and I got a job down there. And I got hired down there. And right after I got hired, what they do, they moved everything to Edgerton.
Oh, no.
I says, I just can't work in Stoughton. I walk back and forth to work. So then I went back there, and then they sent me back to Stoughton again. They jumped back and forth, back and forth. But I enjoyed that kind of work. I worked with an engineer, and we were developing these different machines and that stuff. There was one machine you could pull up here on top of on an interstate, and they want to paint underneath there. We developed an outfit that graze up like that, go over here, down there, and then it go down, and then it come back up underneath the bridge. You're parked up there, and you could paint the bridge from up above. And that really worked good. And I worked with an engineer there. I said, that ain't going to work. Well, try it. He says, you're getting paid for it anyhow, aren't you? I says, yeah, yes, I am. So he tried it. And by golly, it worked pretty good.
Good.
And then all of a sudden, then the highway trailer decided after we got it developed that they're going to move up Minneapolis. And I said, Chink, how'd you like to go to Minneapolis? I said, I don't like big cities. Well, you're going to be out of a job then if you don't go. Well, I said, I'll be out of a job then. So I wasn't going to go up there to Minneapolis and work, no. Drive back and forth up there, and I says, I don't like big cities. I'm a small city town boy. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason I didn't go up there. But you know, you belong to an organization like this. People are always looking after you or helping you.
Good.
And like this VFW here, they do everything for you, you know.
When you were in high school, was there a hangout that you would go to see other kids? Or were you too busy working?
I guess that's all I could do is work.
Okay.
Anything I done was work.
I guess.
But after I got out of the service, I said, listen, I earned my vacations and everything now. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to start doing what I want to do.
Yes.
Well, aren't you going to get married? Oh, no, it's just had interfered with what I want to do. My buddy and I were quite fishermen. We liked to fish. So every fall, every spring, we'd go to Canada and fish. And then in the fall, we'd go up there and we'd hunt and fish. But now you can't. You go up there, they won't take anything out of there anymore. It's like your limits are way down to nothing. Mm. So then we quit going up there, but we met a lot of nice people up there. Oh, you got to come out to my brother's place out east-west out there, he says. He's got a ranch there. You come out and hunt deer. They call them jumpers out there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, jumpers.
Huh.
And so then we went up and got established out there pretty good. So then we went out there every fall. And I done a lot of traveling back and forth to Canada. And I figured I earned it, just like everybody else. When they fight for the country, well, then the country could do something for you.
Yeah.
And that's just what happened.
Well, you sure did. You earned some fun. You earned some relaxation. The house you grew up in looks like it was a 2-bedroom house and 5 people lived there. How did you do that?
That was a small house, all right.
Yeah.
Of course, it was 2 bedrooms. My dad and my mother had one. My brother and I had one. And then my sister was born. So we had a double bed for my brother and I. And then over here we had a baby bed for my sister.
Oh.
She slept in there until she was a teenager, I think.
Oh.
All 3 of us slept in that one room.
Wow. You made do. How How about hobbies? Did you have hobbies
Oh, gosh.
when you were living at home?
When you're young and that, like that, you got to try everything.
Yeah, yeah.
We ain't gonna do that. my brother and I, we used to get, we built a television. Him and I, we got a kit, colored one. So him and I, we worked on that in jeepers. We got it working, but the only thing is, we couldn't get the green in it. Everything was without the green, and we couldn't figure it out. But the rest of it worked perfect. Them days you got kits, you could buy.
You built a colored TV?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No. My brother was more into that kind of stuff than I was. I just tagged along with him,
Yeah. About what year was that you did? Well, it must have been a little bit later.
God, I must have been back in the 40s. 30s or 40s. 40s, I think it was.
Wow.
Because my brother, he worked up to Gishel, sir. And he was pretty smart on that stuff, And then we had a friend of ours that lived up there on, he was a kind of a radio amateur, He built all of his equipment too. And we'd go up there and get stuck up there, and then he'd help us out there. Oh, we get that, yeah. And then after that, then we start putting that telephone in there, and that ended in a bang. Don't ever do that again.
Did you have any pets when you were growing up?
Yeah, I had a little dog, hunting dog, water spaniel, brown. So what I name him? Brownie. Boy, he was my best friend. Knock a pheasant down, and we got the big fences, he couldn't climb over. So I reached the dog over, go get it. He went and got it. He stood back there. I said, bring it here, bring it. He'd look at me like that. I said, bring it here. He'd run back and forth, and then he teased me what he was doing. I said, bring it over here. I finally had to jump over the fence and go get the pheasant myself. I said, you're a big help.
That's funny. That's good.
But I was a kind of a guy that helped my dad out feeding the family. Mm-hmm. I hunted and fished for the family. My dad, he says, hey, you're getting low on fish, sir. Well, I said, you have to get something. So I come home with a whole bunch of fish. I said, come on. Oh, and he says, I got to clean them. No, he says, why should I have to clean them? You caught them. You had the fun of catching them. Now you're going to have the fun of cleaning them. So I was with all them fish cleaning. And it got dark out. I was sitting outside on there cleaning them. It's dark.
Where was the best fishing spot around town?
I ain't going to tell you. That's a secret. I don't know.
It's safe with me. I don't know about the people watching. But.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know where I haven't fished for quite a few years now. I'm steady on my feet, and I hate to get in the boat. And I'll just read all this stuff about all these people falling out of boats and that stuff. I don't know what's the matter with everybody.
I don't know. So I think I see a lot of people fishing down by the dam and where the river is going fast.
Yeah, they used to catch a lot of it. But that one that goes through the powerhouse there, the water goes underneath the road there, Yeah. Now that's all blocked off and that stuff. And I don't know why they don't fill that in.
It's going to be filled in.
Yeah, they filled it in, they could make a little park right there.
Yep, that's going to happen. That's going to happen in a year or two. Yeah. And you had that idea first.
Yeah, I had thought of that a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's all they don't make charge anything or run it anything.
Yeah, it's just kind of wasted space
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Now you
Yeah.
could make a nice little picnic spot there.
You're right about that. Can you tell me some of your favorite memories of childhood? The happy times?
Well, we used to buy chocolate things, and then we'd get a few cents from the paper out, you know.
Yeah.
Then we'd go up on a corner up there, no television or nothing. So we got up the corner and we sit on the street light there. And then we'd play some games and stuff like that out there. And they played Scoot Ahead and that stuff. A lot of people never heard of Scoot
I've
Ahead.
never heard of that. What is it?
Well, that was, we'd have two teams. You get one team up here, and then this people would be a block away. And then they'd have Scoot Ahead.
Yeah.
So then they'd run and hide someplace, then we'd go out and try to find them, you know.
Okay.
And jeepers, that was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
And then we'd get hungry for some radishes and stuff like that. We'd sit around the street light. And then somebody'd go out and I'd say raid somebody's garden, you know, and get some radishes. Then we'd come back there and we'd sit there around the street light and eat radishes.
I heard there were some apple trees on the east side too.
Oh, it's the apple tree. I got scared that one time. There was a lady up through there. She had a big apple tree out in the back of her yard. And she was all single. And that old apple tree there. So they said, let's go get some apples. And so they said, Chink, you crawl up there.
Oh boy.
So I got up in a tree there, and she had a dog. I was up in the tree there picking apples down and throwing them down to the guys. And all of a sudden, the lady come out there, the dog started barking. Get him, get him. There I was up in the tree, there the dog was. Keep him up in the tree, keep him up in the tree. So she said, I'll call the cops, I'll call the cops. There I was stuck up in the tree, them other guys took off. And there I was. And finally, she says, you stay there, dog. Keep up the tree. She said something to the dog come running, jumped down and run down through. And I run out, I run and I run. I said, yeah, thanks, buddies. I said, leave me up the tree there all by myself. How many apples you get? I said, nice, good eating apples. Don't you wish you had one?
Oh no.
But that's what we had to do. We never could get enough to eat at home, stuff like that. And the lots most of the lots like that down our house, everything was taken up. You haven't got no room for any garden or anything. And we used to get the garden there, and then we'd go down by the viaduct down there, and we'd go up and sit up on top of up there. And one time, the guy that lived there, was a couple of gals that lived there. And we went up to the dark, you know, and we went up there and we took a tack and put in there. And then we had a little string on it, put like a nail on it or something. Mm-hmm. And then we'd tie it to that, and we'd go string it up in the trees up the top of the railroad track. And then these girls were in this house there. So then we'd pull it down, you know, and dropped it, hit the window. Then we'd pull it back again. Then they'd look around, the girls, then they'd drop it again. They'd come to the window and look it out. They started looking all over. Couldn't figure out where that tapping was coming from. So then they went back again in there, and then we'd do it again. They couldn't catch out what it was, and we dropped that back and forth all the time. That's the kind of stuff that we had to play with when we were kids.
Yeah.
Tease the girls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about, can you tell me some of your favorite adult memories?
Some of my what?
Your, when you were growing up, your favorite memories.
Traveling and hunting. That was
Yeah.
my favorite then, yeah.
Yeah.
But now it isn't like it used to be. You don't pay to go out there to do it. We'd go out hunting and that. We'd get deer. We'd get moose. Yeah, we got a moose one time up in Canada. Never again. See, there's a lot of meat. There's a lot of work. They're cleaning it.
Yeah. They're huge. So, how is life different now compared to when you were younger? What is the biggest difference that you see in life?
Well, before we didn't have television, you know. We'd sit around on a corner up there and visit and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We'd always have something to do there, and of course, it wasn't really much to do when we were kids, especially at night. I had the radio, not most of the time the radio would have static or something like on that. Mm-hmm. And so we'd go eat supper and go outside and we'd go up to the corner. We sat and spent a lot of time on the corners, visiting, talking back and forth. But other than that, yeah.
Well, I'm still back on, you suddenly went from being a bachelor to having 7 children.
Well, I didn't have no family, and I didn't have no kids. And
that was a big change in your life, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was living in that house all by myself there, and it's quite a difference. Yeah, I got done at about the middle of the afternoon, 2 o'clock. But then I started at 6 o'clock in the morning when I went to work.
Yeah.
And I'd get up, put the coffee on, make the lunch before the next day, you know. And, then we'd get the coffee going and all that stuff, and I'd get up early in the morning because I went to bed early. And then I put the coffee on, filled her thermos jug, filled my thermos jug, and I packed the lunch. And then I ready to go. I went up, time to go up. I said, time to get up, I got to go to work. So I took off, and then she got up and she had the coffee down, it was all ready.
That's nice.
So she had it nice, yeah.
Yes.
But she deserved it. She had 2 wild kids running around, and she was trying to take care of them all alone. Oh. And so from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 5:30 when she got home, these kids were running around wild. Mm-hmm. And so I says, well, I think you need a little help there. So then we start talking there, and we finally got married.
Oh, good.
So I needed a family, and she needed somebody to take care of the kids from 2 to 5.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Did you cook dinner then, since you were the one that was home first?
Well, I can't remember about that.
Oh.
I didn't do much cooking. She done most of the cooking. But we got by pretty good. Everything turned out pretty good the way it did.
Well, I'd say you're a lucky man.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm luckier than a lot of guys are.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to have people that love you.
I got lots of them, yeah.
Yes, you do.
Of people. A lot of times I wish they'd leave me alone.
Oh, you're funny.
But it wasn't for an organization like this or something like this, you know, that'd be pretty lonesome.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you spend a lot of time at the VFW?
Not anymore. No, I used to. I have 1 or 2 beers and that's it. Or I used to have beer all the time, but I don't drink beer like I used to. Monday nights I go out to the bowling alley there, and I meet a guy out there, and we have a lunch and like 2 beers and go home. So we used to bowl together, you know, and all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive that you still live on your own and you drive.
Well, that's what I
Boy,
say. I'm
that's
lucky
wonderful.
I'm still driving, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't drive out of town. And I don't drive at night much except out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I says, if they take my driver's license away, I don't know what I'll do.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you for joining us. It's been fun talking to Mr. Osland and hearing a little bit about Stoughton, about his life, about
Don't
his
say
family.
Mr. Osland, say Chink, then everybody knows who you're talking about.
That's true. That's true.
Osland, that's a foreign name.
And
Yeah.
thanks for WSTO for coming out to the VFW and filming us. And thank you to everyone that's helped.